Thanks for joining us on the program, everyone. You're watching Beyond 100 Days with Nifemi Oguntoye. You can join the conversation right now on X using the hashtag Beyond 100 Days. Remember to tag at TVC News On. On the program today, President Bola Tinubu has been appointed as the African Union Champion for Human Resources for Health and Community Health Delivery Partnership. This is in recognition of Mr. President's commitment to train 120,000 frontline health workers in Nigeria and to double the number of primary health facilities in communities across all local government areas of the Federation from 8,800 to over 17,000 over the next 3 years. The Commission of the African Union, in a letter to Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, said President Tinubu was appointed on the recommendation of the Committee of Heads of State and Government of Africa under the leadership of President Azali Assoumani, President of the Union of Comoros and Chairperson of the African Union. The Commission subsequently invited President Tinubu to address the Ministerial Executive Leadership Program under the theme Impactful Leadership in Health, a whole government approach, built for Saturday, the 17th of February. Our attention is turned on the show today to Ondo State, and 6 out of the 8 members of the All Progressives Congress in the House of Representatives from Ondo are seeking President Bola Tinubu's intervention in the political crisis rocking the state. They accuse Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa of disregarding the party and its hierarchy since his assumption of office in January. National Assembly correspondent Joke Adisa has details.
All is not well within the fold of the All Progressives Congress in Ondo State, southwest Nigeria. The death of former Governor Rotimi Akeredolu in December last year changed the political temperature of the state. Already, aggrieved party members in the state are pointing accusing fingers at the new governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, and most of them are members of the APC in the House of Representatives from Ondo State. In a letter to President Bola Tinubu, 6 out of the 8 APC federal lawmakers are seeking his prompt intervention in resolving the political logjam in the state. They list the many sins of the state governor, accusing him of undermining the party's leadership. Among the allegations against the governor is the balkanization of the political structure of the former governor, Rotimi Akeredolu.
Recent events have revealed Governor Aiyedatiwa's apparent eagerness to erase the legacy of the late Akeredolu from the moment he took office and refused to observe a minute of silence in honor of the late principal.
We are here to cry out that we don't want the legacy of our boss Akeredolu for somebody to come in within a month and want to erase everything. We don't want that.
They also accused Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa of appointing Rotimi Akeredolu's political opponent as deputy governor.
The governor has created a significant divide and caused deep discord among party members. Currently, the party's state chairman, Engineer Adetimehin, is being marginalized and sidelined.
This is a change of government within the same party, and we are not supposed to continue to divide the party. All what has happened in the past has gone. It's politics. We represent our people. We are the voice of our people, and our people are complaining. And we need to speak up so that the people will know that what is going on in Ondo State is not normal.
In the wake of the political stalemate arising from Rotimi Akeredolu's ill health, President Bola Tinubu's intervention that the then Deputy Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa be put in acting capacity saved the day. These aggrieved lawmakers now want President Bola Tinubu to pull out his magic wand once again so that the party's influence in the state does not wane. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
My guest on the show today is a medical doctor who's also a politician. He was running mate of the late Governor Rotimi Akeredolu in the 2012 governorship election. He's thrown his hat in the ring again to contest for Ondo governorship polls in November. Dr. Paul Akintelure joins me live from our Abuja studio. Thank you for joining us on the program today.
Nifemi Ayomide Oguntoye, the award-winning broadcast journalist. It is my pleasure listening to a great man like you.
Well, it's the first time someone would call all of my names on air. Good to have you join us. So let's get to it. We're going to talk about the crisis rocking your party in a bit, but let's begin with your evaluation of the state of the nation as of today. There are huge concerns about the rising price of food, the purchasing power of the people, and the standard of living. Add to that, the challenge of insecurity occasioned by cases of kidnappings here and there. How would you say the Tinubu presidency is faring in this regard?
Well, thank you, moderator. The crisis that have befallen Nigeria for the past few years did not actually start from President Tinubu's tenure. This has been, traced back to a lot of mismanagement of previous administration. Be that as it may, I think the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is doing the right thing by, engaging and ensuring that the issues causing the problems we are having are addressed properly. For instance, food crisis. There is no way you don't eat every day. And prices of food items are soaring every day. Something must be done. I believe it is the right step in the right direction. But that cannot be done by government alone. The citizens too, they are very, very important in the advocacy of this particular thing. We must let people know that whenever we are trying to look for, crass materialism, excessive profit making in any business we are doing, we are indirectly or directly affecting ourselves. For instance, if government says you're going to, fix price of commodities, it is not possible because prices of commodities are determined by demand and supply. What government will do, and I think the present administration is doing already, is to encourage productivity in the areas of agriculture and in the areas of where people can have, purchasing power. That is infrastructural, massive infrastructural development. And that is what will actually help us to, sail through this particular crisis we are in. And when you talk of insecurity, yes, insecurity, honestly speaking, everybody is a nightmare in Nigeria. We know that the police is doing its best to make sure that, crime is prevented. But it is not enough for Nigeria to have a central police. I think it is high time we started having our own state police. State police can be formulated in the format of what we have in the NJC, that is the Nigerian Judicial Commission. We can have Nigerian Police Commission. Nigerian Police Commission will take care of recruitment. We take care of how police are even absorbed in the state at the state level. So in that case, there is no head of government in any state that will accuse police of not listening or not paying attention to whatever he dictates. If the National Police Commission.
Yes. We had the president talk about this yesterday as to, an alternative to the vigilantes as we know them in the states. But because of our time, let us move quickly to what's happening in Ondo State. I'm sure you're following the story with the lawmakers, the APC caucus in the House of Representatives, who have now called on Mr. President in an open letter informing him of Governor Ayedatiwa's alleged misconduct for his yet-to-be-buried deceased predecessor and principal, Rotimi Akeredolu, who happens to be who you were his running mate in 2012. Given all that played out, late last year, would you say that these lawmakers are perhaps not cutting the governor some slack? We remember he was called names, he wasn't given a chance to speak. I mean, they almost even impeached him. Do you think that it will be business as usual after the demise of the former governor? Well,
for the opt-in time, I will say may the soul of our former governor, Governor Oluwarotimi Odunayo Akeredolu rest in perfect peace. I think the Ondo leadership, the government, the leadership of government in Ondo State, and the stakeholders must allow this man to rest in peace. It is very sad. I do not know whether Ondo State has smothered sleep, that we cannot sleep anymore. It is unfortunate that this protracted crisis, we don't know when it will end. I just believe that the only solution is the governorship race. What government, and I think I want to, admonish the federal government to ensure that the remaining 1 year of this administration is done in a way that peace returns to Ondo State. And any attempt to allow the gladiators to continue in government, I think the crisis will continue. We must be very, very careful about leadership recruitment in Ondo State. And I think for what the lawmakers have said, they were also elected by the people. I think they are speaking for the people. If what they are saying, is anything to go by, I think we should be able to recognize that they want peace in Ondo State, and I'm sure the governor of Ondo State too wants peace. What is at stake here is, I want to be governor. If you want to be governor, must it be at the expense of the peace and tranquility of Ondo State? Must it be at the expense of the economic growth of Ondo State? Because as we speak now, what we are seeing is the next one, from now till February next year, it's politics. Because we are doing primary in the next few months, that's in April. After April, there's general election. Where is the portion whereby the people of the state will be attended to? Where is the portion whereby the economic interest of the state will be protected? I think we are wasting too much time on crisis. The gladiators here, I think they should know that it is time up. They should rest and allow peace to reign in Ondo State, so that fresh blood, fresh ideas could come. People who are neutral, people who don't have anything to do with what is going on in this state, must be allowed to rule Ondo State, or to, do Ondo State in a way that life will return to normalcy.
Indeed, Dr. Akintelure, talking about the governor's ambition, Governor Aidatiwa recently said that it was the late governor's wish that he should emerge as the next leader of the state. And I remember also speaking with the former Commissioner for Finance, Wale Akinteriwa, who also mentioned that Aketi endorsed him before he died as next governor. When you hear of this endorsement from your former principal, is this something that threatens your chance, in this regard?
Well, there is nothing that will threaten my chance in this process of, forming leadership in Ondo State. Nifemi, you are a Yoruba man, but I'm sure you will help me in this. My idea is Eruobodo. I'm very fearless. And then what you narrated is like when Yoruba will say, Imole gbawe, Olohun gbe tomi, ta ló fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ́rìí fún. When a Muslim fasts and they declare that, no, since morning I have never swallowed my saliva. Are you there to come and testify? So this is the thing. We must be very, very careful about this inordinate ambition. We must be able to know that whatever you are doing, you must have second address in any political, thinking or anything you want to do about ruling the people. If you don't have second address, that is when this idea of do or die politics comes in. The man is dead. Please let this man rest. And by the grace of God, after the burial, I'm sure, like I told many of my followers, my activities will begin, because I need to respect him. I was part of him, even though we did not win election this first time. That was in 2012. I was his deputy governorship candidate, and we did our best. Unfortunately, we didn't. But now that the man is gone, I owe it a duty to respect him. And by the time he's buried, my political activities will be escalated.
All right, so let's talk about your governorship ambition for a bit. You haven't contested any elective position since 2012 when you ran as Governor Akeredolu's running mate. How optimistic are you that you will get the APC ticket? And why did it take so long to return to the ballot? You understand, when a cow is fighting and it tries to move backward, it tries to gather strength to come and do the real, struggle.
And that is what has happened. I decided to study the situation and wait for my time. You know, I told you, my politics is not that of bitterness, it's not that of do or die. But I need to prepare very well. I prepare very well, and that is why I'm coming out now. I have waited for this to study what and how governments have failed in the past. And I'm well equipped, and I know what to do now. You know, even the last administration, when Governor Akeredolu was alive, I used to tell him about how life is, and I used to warn him about the people around him. I used to tell him many things about how governance should be done. But, you know, he's a free man. Whether he, you know, used what I said, well, it was a different kettle of fish. I told him at that time, and it was in the presence of a senator. It was also in the presence of one of his top government functionaries. I warned him. I told him that, look, Governor Aketi, today I'm going to be your Artemidoros. I'm sure you know Artemidoros in Shakespeare's play Julius Caesar. I said I'm going to be your Artemidoros today. But I've studied your government. I've not been patronized. I'm not part of your government. I've not had contract. I have not had any appointment, and I'm not bitter. But I know that I am a financial member of this party. I do my biddings, and I do whatever is necessary. I told him that as an Artemidoros of this your administration, sir, you must read my own suit. Please read my suit. I said my suit will go in the form of Julius Caesar. When he was warned by the witches that Caesar, you know, when he was warned by Artemidoros that Caesar, beware of Brutus. Take heed of Cassius. Come not near Casca. Have an eye to Cinna. Trust not Trebolius. Mark well Metellus Decius Brutus loves thee not. Thou hast wronged Caius Laborius. There is but one mind in all these men, and it is bent against Caesar. If thou beest not immortal, look about thee. Security gives way to conspiracy. The mighty gods defend thee. And I said, here will I stand as a suitor. If Caesar passes, virtue cannot live out of the teeth of emulation. If thou read this, O Caesar, thou mightst live. If not, thy fate with traitors do contrive. Traitors abound everywhere. Traitors in the form of, you know, making your presentation to the public, you know, on the other side, or creating crisis within your government. These are people that you are dealing with. You must be cautious. But he was a free man. He did not really understand what I was saying at that time, or he felt it wasn't too important. But here are we today in Ondo State, crisis. Honestly, the air we breathe in Ondo State is crisis. The water we drink in Ondo State is crisis. And we only need a neutral person to come and salvage this.
Allow me to jump in very quickly. Doctor, you didn't tell me that I was coming for a literature class, you know, on the show this evening. But we have just about 7 more minutes to go. So let's talk about some other things very quickly if we can. You mentioned in an interview that it was President Bola Tinubu who invited you to join the late governor as his deputy in 2012. I'm wondering what your relationship with him is like now, and do you have his blessings to run again? Because, you know, there are some side talks about whether or not you are the president's anointed candidate.
President Bola Tinubu is a Democrat. Whatever he discusses with me in private, I'm sure, I think it's not my duty to come and, you know, air it in the open. But what I know is that he actually merged the two of us together in 2012. I was the deputy governorship candidate, and the later Governor Akeredolu was the candidate. And at that point in time, things were going on well until a particular point when, you know, there was a little disagreement between them, and I decided, you know, to pitch my tent with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a superior leader. And I'm sure it was, everybody knew about this, and it wasn't too palatable to the governor, but whatever, we have put those things behind us and we are moving. And I continue to say, may his soul rest in peace. I am I am still very, very subservient to all the teachings, all the politics of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I am his acolyte.
Interesting way you have put it. So your dream, you say, is to double the GDP of Ondo State in 1 year. That sounds too good to be true. What's your strategy?
Oh, my strategy is exactly, yes, I'm going to use agriculture. I'm going to use agriculture, especially I told you, we are going to go into commercial agriculture. We are going to ensure that our agriculture is a kind of, where everybody, especially the youth, I have based those increments in GDP on youth development. Youth development starting from the National Youth Service Corps, where I said 5 million naira will be given to youth corps to do whatever he's interested in terms of skills. We are going to train them for the skills acquisition and vocational training. And after the expiration of their NYC, we give 5 million naira to each of them. And the tenure, they are going to repay it back in 10 years' time and without interest. And the good thing about that is a youth corps with 5 million naira, if he's going into poultry, he still needs assistance. At least a minimum of 2 persons will work with him. So I am generating almost 3,000 jobs in 1 year. So if I generate 3,000 in 1 year, 3,000 the second year, third year, fourth year, I'm generating 12,000 jobs for the youth. I am also concentrating on the area of retirement, that's pension, retirement, self-employment scheme, whereby I will encourage people who are on level 14 and above, who have attained 30 years in service, or they are 55 years and above. We will encourage them to retire voluntarily. You give them 6 months training prior to their retirement, and we are going to give them money to go. We are going to give them their entitlement, the retirement entitlement emoluments immediately, so that they can go into areas of their investment, whether it is farming, whether it is manufacturing or whatever. They will use the money. We will also make sure that whoever comes as volunteer will bring 2 of his kids. And that, one should be a BSc holder or HND, and the other person should also be NC or OND. So additional 2 people will be employed. We base it on the fact that a grade level 14 officer who has left office will be replaced by 2 new fresh blood who have fresh ideas to join the service. And I'm not going to add 1 naira to the money to be spent, because it is equivalent for level 14 officer to a new recruitment. Their salary is almost the same thing. So we are going to use that to make sure that people continue to work, and there is going to be space for promotion. People on level 12 will go to 13, people on level 10 will go to 11, and so on and so forth. In this way, employment is generated. In this way, job satisfaction will be there. In this way, there is going to be a lot of, incentives that people will now see that farming is good, and all other things you do about your skills are what Nigeria can use to, leave this inflationary
so, Doctor, sounds pretty good. The question is, how do you fund this dream or this plan, particularly when you say you will give 5 million naira to 1,000 corps members? That's like 5 billion naira. The last time I checked on those,
it's 5 billion naira. It's 5 billion. Yes, it's 5 billion naira. This 5 billion naira. Yes, it's 5 billion naira. This 5 billion naira will be self-financing after 4 years. I am not going to add another money after 4 years, because they are going to do repayment. Their repayment is going to be, monthly. They are going to pay about 50,000 naira monthly, plus an insurance. Because there is no system that is perfect, we assume that 20% of the people may default. Therefore, we give 20% for insurance policy. So each of the graduates will have to pay 50,000 naira every year for a total of 120 months. After that, 4 years, the money is going to be self-financing. I'm not going to add any money. And as for the pensioners, of course, there is already, statutory allocation. There is already, allocation for retirement. All what I've done is just to bring the payment forward, and that is what has happened. Meanwhile, the agricultural revolution that is going on is going to energize. It's going to make people happy, and we are going to have a lot of security. Because while doing that, infrastructural development will be part of what will make the people to be happy. Because the farm produce will be very easy to be transported to the public, to the urban areas, and rural-urban migration will be discouraged, and Nigeria will be good for it. I can tell you that Ondo State will be a model for the development of economic growth of Nigeria.
I'm afraid we have to go now. We have run out of time. Dr. Paul Akintelure, medical doctor, politician, He was running mate to late Governor Rotimi Akeredolu in 2012, and he's also desirous of the top seat in Ondo come November. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, and we wish you all the best in all of your endeavors.
Thank you, the award-winning journalist. Thank you.
All right, that's our show today, everyone. Thanks for being a part of it. You can watch it again at midnight and at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye.